Mr. Speaker, this morning I rise to provide my honorable colleagues with an update on the Ministry of Education's consultation process for the proposal to introduce parish primary schools. There have been comments in the public domain recently that have not represented our proposed education reform's true nature. I hope to clarify what has been happening with this statement. Mr. Speaker, first, let me cast my honorable colleagues' minds back to December 2020 when I provided an update on education reform. At that time, I shared 4 educational domains that were either in train or about to start. These were 1. The development of an education authority. 2. The implementation of the Learning First program. 3. The phasing out of middle schools and the introduction of signature schools. And 4. The consultative process on the introduction of parish primary schools. Mr. Speaker, much progress has been made on the research and work needed to implement the recommendations for an education authority fully. I am most pleased with the focused efforts of the committee, who have been charged with developing options that can be considered for governing the transformed public school system. I expect a report outlining these from the committee in April. Mr. Speaker, the Learning First program commenced their work in October 2020, and the design team members have regrouped since the Christmas break. You will recall that in December, I reported that the team of 54 members consisted of 16 teachers and educators, education support staff, i.e. paraeducators and allied professionals, 12 community or cultural members from non-for-profit community leaders and school board members, 3 school leaders, principals, deputy principals, and teacher mentors, 9 members with education system experience, curriculum, education, and policy officers, 6 parents or family members, and 2 industry business partners from the private sector, all of whom brought with them a diversity of knowledge, skills, and technical abilities. Mr. Speaker, the team has been working on identifying national and core educational priorities, understanding design thinking, and delivering better learner outcomes. The work's overall objective is to prepare support for the delivery of new learning experiences for our students. The design team has now identified 6 national and core educational priorities that sit at the heart of the public school system's transformation journey. These include principles and values to guide decisions about what great learning looks like, pedagogical framework that will design teaching and learning to engage, challenge, and inspire our young people, curriculum framework to design what a vibrant 21st century curriculum that will give our young people the knowledge, skills, and value they need to succeed. Graduate outcomes for designing new ways to recognize and certify learning for a range of college and career opportunities. Education workforce strategy for designing high-level professional learning and development that teachers and school leaders need to shape the next generation. Learning environments, designing diverse, engaging on and offline learning spaces to shape where, when, and how our young people learn in the future. The design team is currently engaged in a series of evening workshop sessions during the next 2 weeks. It will concentrate on each of these 6 national priorities to develop prototypes for new learning experiences. Those prototypes will then be tested among various stakeholder groups in the broader community. The intent is for our children and teachers to engage in learning of excellence. Mr. Speaker, the work also continues with the phasing out of middle schools and the introduction of signature schools. The ministry team has been diligently working with chambers to ensure legislation is drafted to achieve this. Amendments to the Education Act will shift the education system from a 3-tier to a 2-tier system. As shared previously, the legislation will amend the age range for primary school education to 12 years, which includes the current M1 and M2 years, introduce senior level signature school education, and amend the start at 13 years to include the M3 years. The new legislation will also establish exceptionalities and alternative education for students. That bill will be tabled during this session of the legislature. Mr. Speaker, at this time I will dive into greater depth to provide an update on the proposal consultation process for the introduction of parish primary schools. The consultation document, which outlines the vision and plans for transforming public education was released to the general public during mid-December for their reading and understanding. It invites critical stakeholders and community participation in a consultation on a proposal to introduce parish primary schools, including primary schools recommended for closure. In essence, the proposal is to reduce the number of primary schools from 18 to 10, recommending one primary school per parish, except Pembroke, which will have 2 primary schools. In part of the consultative process involving stakeholder meetings commenced earlier this year in January. Mr. Speaker, let me start with an overview of the consultation, which began with internal stakeholders. The ministry held consultation meetings with ministry and department staff, board members, representatives from all 3 unions, principals, and preschool administrators. These meetings were first to be held during January. During the first weeks in February, the consultation meetings continued with 2 public meetings. The general public was invited to attend, hear the proposed parish primary school presentation, ask questions, and give their input and suggestions. Mr. Speaker, the ministry has also held a total of 8 parish meetings for stakeholders who live in their respective parishes that could potentially be affected by the proposal. 2 meetings were held for the St. George's Parish stakeholders and education advocates, 2 for Smith's Parish, 2 for Devonshire, and 2 for Pembroke Parish residents. All consultation meetings were undertaken using the virtual platform Zoom. Participants registered for the meeting, they are interested in attending, and can submit questions in advance. Mr. Speaker, all consultative meetings held on Mondays and Thursdays are also broadcast on the government's CITV and streamed to the Bermuda government's Facebook and YouTube channels. The ministry aims to have as wide a reach as possible to the Bermudian community. The YouTube and Facebook streams are monitored, and any questions posted there are recorded. Additionally, these questions, as much as possible, are answered during the Zoom meeting. Mr. Speaker, consultation meetings structures comprise a presentation sharing information of data, 2 question and answer segments, and the administering of 2 polls. The presentation also provides all participants with an overview of why the need to transform the Bermuda public school system. It paints a clear picture of the vision for 21st century learning, highlighting visuals of what 21st century learning environment could look like for our children. Mr. Speaker, participants in the meeting receive a detailed account of study factors considered that forms the basis for determining what school location building sites to propose for each parish. The proposed primary schools per parish are shown by school zone. An explanation of the scoring is shared. During the parish consultation meetings, the presentation goes into further depth, explaining the scoring for all parish schools in that respective parish. Participants are given ample opportunity to engage, ask questions, and provide input and suggestions on the proposal. Mr. Speaker, the ministry collects each and every consultation submission and takes note of all responses and information shared during these meetings. Every meeting is also recorded. In fact, we have established a Mentimeter for documenting all questions and comments received. This database of information will be considered in the final decision-making process. I personally receive a weekly update of consultation submissions to receive and read each and every one as the consultation meetings progress. I've also found it very enlightening by participating in each of the meetings and hearing directly from the participants. This has helped me understand the thoughts and positions of parents and education advocates, staff, and the general public regarding the proposal for parish primary schools, and to hear from them directly. Mr. Speaker, to date, the ministry has received a total of 65 written submissions via the consultation link. The majority of the responses have been from parents or extended family members. This is good. We encourage everyone to complete a consultation form and share their ideas, any alternative proposals or suggestions. The transformation of the public school system is of national importance. Therefore, the ministry needs everyone to contribute so that the best decision is made for our children today and future generations. Mr. Speaker, during the consultation meeting thus far, a number of recurring themes have emerged. There's a common thread indeed. Participants have asked about the implementation timeline for the introduction of parish primary schools and potential closures. Mr. Speaker, I would like to reiterate that a decision has not been made on primary school closures. We have presented a proposal on the introduction of parish primary schools to start a national discussion. Therefore, at this point, a specific timeline for implementation cannot be provided. We intend to give careful consideration of every submission and feedback so that an informed decision is made. Mr. Speaker, the ministry is often asked why are high-performing schools being proposed for closure. Stakeholders must know that the ministry is consulting broadly to obtain as much feedback and input as possible. A powerful vision for learning has been proposed, and that vision cannot be achieved with the school buildings of the past, nor the teaching and learning styles of the past. Thus, careful thought went into determining the school building sites recommended for parish primary school locations. It's critical that these sites have the potential for expansion and development to support the new vision of learning. It would not be fair nor prudent to propose a school building site based on the performance when there are other social and economic factors that impact a child's school performance. We must have a system that caters to all of our students and their needs. It is important for us to meet them where they are. Mr. Speaker, during every meeting, stakeholders have asked, where is the funding coming from for possible refurbishment, renovations, and or building of primary schools? I must emphasize that the government is fully committed to funding education reform and transforming the Bermuda public school system. Additionally, the ministry has looked into various funding options, including public-private partnerships that have demonstrated proven financial support for big-ticket building facilities and projects. We want to assure our stakeholders that the funding will be provided. More importantly right now is to develop a blueprint of what our primary schools will look like. This blueprint will then be assessed for costs, timelines, and rollout, and given the resources needed. Mr. Speaker, another question centers around the potential of overcrowding of school buildings and classrooms. If the consultation outcome is to have parish primary schools, those schools selected will be refurbished or rebuilt to accommodate up to 300 students. The ministry is proposing a maximum class size in primary schools of 15 students. School enrollment projections also show steady declining student enrollment of each parish up to the year 2027. The school enrollment projections support a decision of 300 students per school with a maximum of 15 students per class. Therefore, overcrowding would not be an issue. Mr. Speaker, there is a fear that closing particular schools will eradicate the school's history or legacy. Mr. Speaker, history or legacy is carried on by people and what they do with information, knowledge, and past experiences. Therefore, there are many ways to preserve the legacy of experiences attached to school buildings. Examples could be renaming school buildings or classrooms, writing the history in the school curriculum, or establishing a History Hall of Fame. This has been done in the past and can continue. Mr. Speaker, the consultation meetings have been engaging overall. Participants have indicated through polls that they have been given ample opportunity to ask their questions and share, and this is what we want to achieve. The consultation process will continue during the next 2 weeks as the ministry holds specific meetings for Paget, Southampton, and Sam's parishes. On March 8th, there will be one last public meeting for anyone interested in improving public education to attend. The consultation process will conclude on March 12th. Following this deadline, technical officers will be busy gathering all the data and feedback, collating the responses, and preparing a detailed analysis in report form that will be shared with the public. I intend to communicate the final decision before the end of this school year. Mr. Speaker, let me close by first thanking the dedicated and committed officers in the Ministry and Department of Education. They have sacrificed their family and personal time during the past few weeks, each night, to host the consultation meetings. We have a strong team that only wants to do what is best for children and position them for success. I also want to encourage my honorable colleagues and the general public to get involved. Mr. Speaker, if education fails, Bermuda fails. We need to be on the same page, the government, the opposition, and the public. Public education is of national importance. We need your feedback, and we need to hear from you. I urge members here and the public to register to attend one of the remaining consultation meetings to learn about the proposal to introduce parish primary schools. Take some time to read the consultation submission form by visiting www.moed.bm website. Let's make this national effort to transform our public school education. Thank you, Mr.